2025. What a weird, messy, beautiful year for gaming. We started this year with massive promises. We were promised the most realistic life simulators ever made. We were promised the return of the Shire. We were promised that cozy genre was finally going to grow up and evolve beyond just farming and fishing. And looking back at the 40 plus games I've played from January to December, some of those promises were kept, and some were violently broken. I've played them all, I've washed the dirt, I've built the villages, I've dated the walls, and I have suffered through the bugs. Today I am ranking every single one of them, no skipping, no grouping, every game gets its own verdict. We're going from S tier, the masterpieces you need to buy right now, down to D tier, the games that quite frankly belong in the trash. Let's not waste time, we're starting right at the top with what might be the most atmospheric game of the year. We are opening with a masterpiece, Burrow. Released in November, this game did something very few survival games managed to do. It made survival feel cozy instead of stressful. You play as a mouse returning to your childhood home in a harsh frozen woodland. The mechanics are simple: gather twigs, fix the roof, find food, but the pacing is perfection. Usually in survival games like Don't Starve or The Long Dark, the environment hates you. It wants you dead. In Burrow, the environment respects you. The snow is dangerous, yes, but the game gives you the tools to conquer it comfortably. You spend your days scavenging for resources, repairing the old furniture in your aunt's burrow, and brewing teas that give you buffs against the cold. The sound design deserves a special mention here: the crunch of the snow under your paws, the howling wind when a blizzard strikes, and the stark contrast of the crackling fire when you finally get indoors. It hits a primal emotional note. It makes you feel small in a big world, but it never makes you feel helpless. It's a game about resilience, family, and warmth. I'm placing Burrow in S tier because it understands atmosphere better than any other game this year. It turns the anxiety of winter into a warm blanket. It is polished, beautiful, and respects your time. And if you love discovering hidden gems like this, do me a huge favor and hit that like button right now. It helps the algorithm show this video to more cozy gamers who need to know about Burrow. From the highest highs, we crash back down to earth. Little Witch in the Woods. This hurts me to say. We've been watching this game in early access for years. The art style is adorable, some of the best pixel art on the market. The concept of being an apprentice witch, Ellie, exploring a magical forest is solid, but the 1.0 release in September, it was a disaster. The game refuses to let you play it. It's plagued by what I call dialogue bloat. You take 3 steps and an unskippable cutscene triggers. You try to brew a potion and you have to read 10 pages of poorly translated text explaining the lore of the ladle. It breaks the flow constantly. On top of that, the quest design is confusing, often giving you vague instructions, and the bugs were rampant at launch. I had a softlock happen 3 hours in where I couldn't exit a room, forcing me to restart the entire day. I am placing Little Witch in the Woods in D tier because a cozy game should be relaxing, not frustrating. I wanted to be a witch, not read a visual novel with broken triggers. Let's pick things back up. In September, we got a surprise hit, The Home County. If you've ever wanted to be the lord of a British manor, this is your game. It's a city builder, but zoomed way in. You aren't managing traffic flow or power grids, you're managing gossip and social standing. You have to decide where Mrs. Higgins lives relative to the pub, because if she's too close, she'll complain about the noise and lower the village morale. The depth here is shocking. The game introduces a kind of class system mechanic where you have to balance the needs of workers, the merchants, the gentry. If you favour one group too much, the others might leave. The seasonal weather also affects your crops. A bad winter can genuinely ruin your economy if you haven't stocked up on firewood and ale. The writing is distinctly British, full of dry humour and passive-aggressive villager complaints. It's not quite S tier because the late game slows down a bit too much once your village gets massive, but it is close. I'm placing The Home County in A tier because it brings genuine personality to the city builder genre. It's charming, deep, and brilliantly designed. Okay, take a deep breath, it's time for the big one, InZOI. This was supposed to be the Sims killer, and visually, it is. It is undoubtedly the best looking simulation game ever made. The character creator alone is worth the price of admission. You can spend hours tweaking the exact slope of a nose or the texture of a jacket. But once you stop staring at the graphics and actually try to play it, the illusion shatters. The gameplay loop is incredibly hollow. You have these hyper-realistic humans, but they act like robots. The AI pathfinding is a mess, the karma system, which was advertised as his deep moral compass, feels arbitrary and barely impacts the game. The job minigames are repetitive, clickfests. The world is beautiful, but it feels like a movie set. You can look, but you can't really touch or change anything meaningful. I'm placing InZOI in C tier because graphics do not equal gameplay. It is as wide as an ocean, but deep as a puddle. From a game that tried too hard to a game that knows exactly what it is. PowerWash Simulator 2. They didn't reinvent the wheel here, they just polished it to a mirror shine. The water physics are better, the dirt layers are more complex, and the locations are wildly creative. Cleaning up the aftermath of a superhero battle, genius. Scrubbing down a haunted mansion where the dirt seems to move when you aren't looking, spooky and satisfying. What really elevates this sequel is the environmental storytelling. You aren't just cleaning, you're uncovering a story layer by layer. It remains the ultimate podcast game. It shuts your brain off in the best way possible. There are no bugs, no stress, just you and the dirt. I'm placing PowerWash Simulator 2 in S tier because it remains the undisputed king of Zen. If PowerWash is the king of cleaning, Deconstruction Simulator is the jester of destruction. This game is broken. I don't mean it has a few bugs, I mean the physics engine seems to hate the player. You are supposed to be tearing down houses using sledgehammers and bulldozers, but half the time the debris floats in the air or falls through the floor, making it impossible to clear the level. The sound design is ear-piercingly repetitive, and there is zero satisfaction in the destruction because nothing creates realistic rubble. It feels like a cheap cash grab trying to capitalize on the simulator trend. For that reason, I'm placing Deconstruction Simulator in D tier because it is fundamentally unfinished. Do not waste your money on this. Let's cleanse the palate with some professionals. 2 Point Studios gave us 2 Point Museum this year and it is delightful. After tackling hospitals and universities, a museum was the perfect choice. The new mechanic of sending archaeologists out on expeditions to find loot creates a fun risk-reward loop. Do you spend money on a risky dig for a T-Rex skull or play it safe for some Roman pottery? Watching guests interact with your exhibits, managing donations, and dealing with the classic 2-point humor creates a management sim that is stressful in a good way. I'm placing 2 Point Museum in A tier because it is a polished, funny, and deep management sim that never takes itself too seriously. Next is Tiny Garden. This is a puzzle game inside a magical toy. It's incredibly cute, and the tactile feeling of interacting with the little machines, spinning cranks, pulling levers is great. The visuals are vibrant and the music is lovely. The only problem is the length. You can beat the whole thing in under 2 hours with pretty much zero replayability. I'm placing Tiny Garden in B tier. It's a lovely experience, but it's more of a snack than a meal. Another heartbreak, Tales of the Shire. I wanted to love this, we all did. A cozy life sim set in Middle Earth. It sounds like a license to print money, but the game is just boring. It treats the player like a child, the tutorials go on forever, the world is tiny, you can run across it in 2 minutes. The quests are endless fetch quests with no real narrative weight. Go get me a tomato, go get me a fish, deliver this letter. It captures the look of the Shire, but it captures none of the adventure or heart that makes Tolkien's world special. It feels like a mobile game that was ported to PC without adding any depth. I'm placing Tales of the Shire in C tier because it played it too safe. It's so cozy, it put me to sleep. If the Shire was too slow, Peak is pure adrenaline. This climbing sim took over the internet in June. You and your friends are roped together, you have to climb a mountain. The physics are hilarious, but the gameplay is surprisingly strategic. You have to communicate, manage your rope, and set anchors. The feeling of finally reaching the summit after an hour of struggle is the best feeling I had in gaming this year. It turns a walking simulator into a climbing puzzle, it bonds you with your friends, or destroys your friendship. I'm placing Peak in S tier because it delivered the best emergent gameplay of the year. It's chaotic, it's bonding, it's brilliant. I lost friends playing paddle together. It's a co-op rafting game where you have to row in sync. On paper, it sounds like Peak on water. In practice, the controls are intentionally bad. It stops being funny chaotic and starts being frustratingly broken very quickly. The water physics are unpredictable and the level design is cruel, often trapping you in corners you can't get out of without restarting. I'm placing Paddle Together in D tier because a co-op game should be fun, not a test of patience. If you value your friendships, avoid this one. Next is Fair Trade, and this is from the creators of Winklejet and the Polished Shows. You run a medieval shop, but you also manage the supply chain. You aren't just buying low and selling high, you're crafting the swords and potions yourself. The progression is smooth, the art style is timeless, and the customers have great personality. Some will try to rob you, others will haggle relentlessly. It captures that merchant fantasy perfectly without becoming a spreadsheet simulator. I'm placing Fair Trade in A tier. It is the gold standard for shopkeeping games. Comic Book Store Simulator is exactly what it says on the tin. You run a shop, you spot rare comics, you grade them, and you sell them to collectors. It captures that specific retail fantasy of finding a $1,000 issue in a box of junk. The mechanics are simple, but the progression of upgrading your store from basement to geek empire is satisfying. It is a bit repetitive, and the NPC models are reused constantly, but the core loop is solid. I'm placing Comic Book Store Simulator in B tier. It's not groundbreaking, but it's a solid weekend game if you like retail sims. Grounded 2, the heavyweight champion of July. The first game was great, the sequel is a masterpiece. The world is bigger, the biomes are more diverse, and the addition of mounts changed everything. Being able to tame a beetle and drive it like a truck across the yard, incredible. The base building is deeper with more structural integrity physics, and the survival mechanics are fair. The story actually goes places I didn't expect, diving deeper into the sci-fi lore of the shrinking tech. I'm placing Grounded 2 in S tier because it is the gold standard for survival sequels. It's massive, polished, and endlessly fun. I know a lot of you played Grounded 2, so let me know in the comments what was your favourite mount. If I see enough comments about the ladybug, I might just do a dedicated build video on it. Little Sim World. We waited years for this, and we got nothing. This game promised a deep 2D open world life sim, but the map feels lifeless. There is nothing to do but go to the gym and work. The furniture options are limited, the social interactions are shallow, and it feels like a mobile game port that got lost on its way to Steam. The hype killed this one. I'm placing Little Sim World in D tier because the final product did not live up to the years of hype. It feels empty. I went into Waterpark Simulator expecting a cheap cash grab, but I was wrong. This is a surprisingly deep Tycoon game. You have to manage the water, safety protocols, line wait times, and best of all, design the wildest slides possible. It scratches that Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 itch perfectly. It's colourful, it's fun, and the simulation goes deep enough that you actually care about your park rating. I'm placing Waterpark Simulator in A tier because it is the best Tycoon game released this year. Next is Date Everything, and I was ready to hate this. The concept, dating your furniture, sounds like a cheap gimmick for YouTubers to scream at, but honestly, it won me over. The writing is genuinely hilarious, and the voice cast is stacked with industry legends. It's incredibly self-aware. Sure, it's not a deep simulation game, and you might not replay it endlessly, but for the 10 to 15 hours you spend flirting with a wall or a sentient toaster, you will be laughing. It commits to the bit 100%. I'm placing Date Everything in B tier. It's weird, it's wild, and it's a genuinely good time if you embrace the absurdity. Visually, Hotel Galactic is an S tier. It looks like a Studio Ghibli movie come to life. The character designs are charming and the colour palette is gorgeous. But I'm not ranking graphics, I'm ranking games, and as a management game, this is shallow. There is no challenge, you build rooms, guests arrive, they leave. You never really feel stressed, you never feel challenged to optimize. It's a beautiful screensaver. I kept playing hoping for a twist or a deeper mechanic, maybe space pirates attack or something, maybe a food critic comes, but it never happened. I'm placing Hotel Galactic in C tier because beauty isn't enough. It needed deeper mechanics to match that incredible art style. Now this is how you do a relaxing game. Spilled. You pilot a boat cleaning up oil spills, and that's it. That is the whole game. And it is incredibly addictive. The visual feedback of scrubbing the ocean clean is pure dopamine. It's short, focused, and eco-friendly. It doesn't try to be a grand epic, it just wants you to feel good about cleaning the planet. I'm placing Spilled in A tier because it's the ultimate palate cleanser. It's satisfying, cheap, and beautiful. And speaking of clean vibes, if you want to support the channel and look good doing it, check out the link to my merch store in the description. had just dropped a new hoodie design that is perfect for cozy gaming sessions. Okay, we need a win. Let's go to a farming legend, Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. This remake is everything I wanted. The core loop of farming all week and then selling your crops in a chaotic market minigame on the weekend is still the best loop in the franchise. They modernized the controls, updated the graphics without losing the charm, and added new marriage candidates. It proves that the old formula still works if you treat it with respect. I'm placing Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar in S tier because it is a definitive, cozy farming experience of 2025. Next is shipping, and I love logistic games, but this one was a drier than a desert. It's just menus, click a port, click a ship, wait, there's no soul here. It feels like doing homework or managing an Excel spreadsheet. Even hardcore sim fans found this one a little bit boring. I'm placing shipping into C tier. The Precinct is an action sim. Think old school GTA or Chinatown Wars, but you play as the police. You have to respond to calls, manage your squad and clean up the city. It's intense, atmospheric, and the procedural crimes keep it fresh. It's not cozy in the traditional sense, but the loop of patrolling the rain-soaked streets creates an incredible noir atmosphere. I'm placing the Precinct in A tier because it executes its concept flawlessly. Now let's talk about a disaster, Ambulance Life. I wanted this to be good. We needed a serious medical sim, but this game is a mess. It was released in February, and nearly a year later, the bugs are still terminal. You'll be rushing a critical patient to the hospital and your ambulance will clip through the floor, or the AI traffic will just stop dead in front of you for no reason. It's not stressful in a fun way, it's stressful because the game feels unfair. I'm placing Ambulance Life in D tier because it's on life support. Save your money on this one. I know, the name Food Processing Simulator sounds like absolute shovelware. I almost didn't review it, but surprisingly, this game slaps. It's not just clicking, it's actual automation logic. You have to route ingredients, manage factory efficiency, and deal with the health inspections. It's basically Factorio, but with salad items, I guess. The UI is a bit ugly, which holds it back, but the brain-teasing gameplay is solid. I'm placing Food Processing Simulator in B tier because it surprised me. It's ugly, but it's smart. Wanderstop, from the creator of the Stanley Parable. This is a tea shop simulator, but it's not really about tea, it's about trauma. You play as a warrior who is trying to retire, but the memories of battle keep intruding on your cozy life. The game actively fights against you getting comfortable. You try to brew tea, but your hands shake. You try to talk to customers, but you get angry. It is weird, it is emotional, and it deconstructs the entire cozy genre. It won't be for everyone, but it stuck with me for days. I'm placing Wanderstop in A tier because it tells a story that actually matters, and it's pure art. Everdream Village. There is everything wrong with this game and nothing right about it either. It is the most generic farming sim I have ever played. It has crops, it has cows, it has villagers, but it lacks any real unique hook. The art style looks like a mobile game ad. In a year where we got Grand Bazaar and Grimshire, there is no reason to play this. I'm placing Everdream Village in D tier. In a year this competitive, average isn't good enough. Let's get back to the good stuff, Dinkum. The 1.0 release in April took what was already a great Australian Animal Crossing and turned it into a full-blown civilization builder. The new late game content, the airport, the deep mines, the seasonal events, it's staggering how much there is to do here. It respects your time, it lets you play at your own pace, and it has charm in spades. It captures that one more day feeling perfectly. I'm placing Dinkum in S tier. If you haven't played it yet, you are missing out. Now we have to talk about Discounty. This game has a great art style, very Earthbound meets supermarket. I was hyped for this game. But the gameplay loop is a grind. You spend way too much time doing menial tasks like mopping floors and not enough time making interesting business decisions. The balance is off. It starts fun, but after hour 5, it feels less like a game and more like an actual minimum wage job. I am placing Discounty in C tier because it confuses work with gameplay. It needed more automation and less mopping. Up next is Cash Cleaner Simulator. Yes, you literally wash money. It sounds stupid, it is stupid, but in the same way PowerWash Sim is satisfying, Scrubbing grime off illegal cash is weirdly zen. You take dirty money, clean it, and use it to buy better cleaning tools. It's a meme game, but a high effort one. The physics of the paper money are actually impressive. I am placing Cash Cleaner Simulator in B tier because sometimes you just want to turn your brain off and scrub some cash. And if you want to see the uncut footage of me losing my mind playing these weird simulator games, you should consider becoming a channel member. You get access to behind the scenes vlogs and uncut gameplay, and a huge shout out to everyone who has already joined. Grimshire came out in July and pitched itself as Stardew but haunted, and it nailed it. The farming is solid, but the mystery of the cursed town is what keeps you playing. You aren't just growing corn, you are growing ingredients for rituals to appease whatever is going on. The townsfolk all have dark secrets, and the weather effects create a really unique mood. It took risks that other farming sims were too scared to take. I'm placing Grimshire in A tier because it proved that cozy games can be spooky too. Cropia tried to make farming physics-based. It was a mistake. Trying to water your crops with wobbly physics arms isn't fun, it's annoying. I spent 10 minutes just trying to put a seed in a hole because my character kept dropping it. Novelty is fine, but not when it breaks the basic functionality of the game. I'm placing Cropia in D tier. Novelty isn't enough if the game isn't fun to play. I thought Plant Nursery Simulator would be boring shovelware. I was wrong. There is something incredibly zen about this game. You run a plant shop, you manage a greenhouse, you grow vegetables. It moves at a slow, deliberate pace that I found really relaxing after a long day. It's not groundbreaking, but it's competent and the plants look beautiful. I'm placing Plant Nursery Simulator in B tier because it delivers exactly what it promises, a chill time with plants. Photographer's Life Simulator has one major sin: AI voiceovers. Every character sounds like a robot and it completely breaks the immersion. The photography mechanic is okay, you get to adjust ISO and aperture, but the missions are repetitive fetch quests. Go take a photo of A, go take a photo of B. It feels soulless. I'm placing Photographer's Life Simulator in C tier because it lacks soul. Up next, Strange Antiquities. If you played Strange Horticulture, you know the vibe. This is the spiritual successor we got in September, and it is deliciously dark. Instead of plants, you are identifying cursed objects in an occult antique shop. The atmosphere is thick enough to cut with a knife, the rain hitting the window, the creak of the floorboards, the mysterious customers. It makes you feel smart for solving its riddles, and it makes you feel unsettled while doing it. I'm placing Strange Antiquities in S tier. It is a masterpiece of mood. Unbox the Room is a shameless clone of Unpacking. It copies the style, the mechanic, pretty much everything, but it misses the environmental storytelling that made Unpacking special. In Unpacking, you learned about the character's life through their items. Here you just are putting random items on random shelves. It feels cheap and cynical. I'm placing Unbox the Room in D tier. Support original ideas, not cheap copies. Are We There Yet is a road trip simulator with a lot of heart and a lot of jank. The concept is amazing. You maintain your RV, manage your gas and food, and drive across a massive map. The vibes when you are parked by a campfire at sunset are immaculate, but the driving physics, they can be an absolute nightmare. My RV did a backflip once for no reason, but despite the bugs, I kept playing because the road trip feeling is so strong. I am placing Are We There Yet in B tier because the road trip vibe is strong enough to make you forgive the glitches. Ritual of Raven, another magical farming game. It tried to mix card game mechanics with farming, which is interesting on paper, but in practice it just felt slow. The world felt empty and the magic didn't feel very magical. The characters were forgettable and the daily loop became tedious very quickly. I'm placing Ritual of Raven in C tier. It's not bad, it's just painfully average. When you think of Little Rocket Lab, think Kerbal Space Program combined with Satisfactory or Factorio. The physics are forgiving enough to be fun, but complex enough to make you feel smart when you stick the right combination of machinery. It's a great game to play while listening to a podcast. I'm placing Little Rocket Lab in B tier. It's a niche game, but it's a blast, pun intended. Whisper of the House was kind of like a point-and-click escape room style game. The puzzles were decent, some were actually quite clever, but the story that was supposed to tie it all together was completely forgettable. I finished it and immediately forgot what happened. The pacing was also very slow with lots of backtracking. I'm placing Whisper of the House in C tier. It's okay for a rainy afternoon, but don't expect to be blown away. Out and About is a foraging simulator. You explore, you pick herbs, you cook. It's fine, it's perfectly playable, and the art is cute, but I have played this style of game 10 times before. It does do something new with the real-life plants, but you need to stand out in a crowded market. If you've never played a foraging game, you might like it. If you've played Stardew or Cozy Grove, it might feel redundant. I'm placing Out and About in B tier. It's comfort food gaming, safe, familiar, but somewhat unexciting. Next is Kokoro Kitchen. We have too many cooking games, and this one adds nothing new. You chop, you cook, you serve. The controls are a bit floaty, and the difficulty curve is non-existent. The customers repeat the same 3 lines of dialogue. I'm placing Kokoro Kitchen in C tier. Just play Cooking Mama instead. Ages of Cataria is an ambitious village builder that focuses on generations. Your villagers grow old, have kids and die, and you have to manage their lineage. It's a cool concept, but the execution is a bit janky. The UI is cluttered and the AI sometimes gets stuck. However, I do respect the ambition of trying to make a legacy builder. I'm placing Ages of Cataria in C tier. It has big ideas, but it lacks the polish to reach the top tiers. If you liked House Builder 1, you'll love House Builder 2. You travel the world building houses using traditional methods, but with wacky physics. It's educational and satisfying in a weird way. It feels very grounded and tactical, and you actually learn a bit about construction while playing. I'm placing House Builder 2 in B tier. It's a solid sequel that does exactly what it says on the box. We're almost at the end, and this is Bookshop Simulator. This is a competent game. You buy books, you stock shelves, you set prices. It works, it's fine, and it sits comfortably in the B tier. But why play a fine bookshop game when you could play a perfect one? We opened this video with a masterpiece, and we are closing it with one: Tiny Bookshop. If Winter Burrow was about survival, Tiny Bookshop is about connection. You leave everything behind to run a mobile bookstore by the sea. Everything about this game is tactile. The way you organize the books, the way you unfold your shop in the morning, the way the customers talk to you. It strips away all the stress of capitalism and leaves only the joy of sharing stories. The writing is funny, warm, and human. While other games this year tried to impress us with 4K graphics or massive open worlds, Tiny Bookshop impressed us by being small, intimate, and perfect. It is the best example of what the cozy genre can be when it stops trying to be a simulator and starts trying to be an experience. I'm placing Tiny Bookshop in S tier. It's my cozy game of the year. And there you have it, every cozy game I've played in 2025 ranked. Looking at this board, it's clear that budget doesn't always equal quality. S tier is filled with indie passion projects, while C tier is crowded with overhyped giants. But I want to know what you think. Did I treat InZOI too harshly? Am I crazy for putting Ambulance Life in D tier? The comment section is open, go fight it out now. And if you want to support this channel, being a subscriber is the best way to do it. But if you want to hang out with me and talk about these games, the Discord link is down below. Thank you for watching. I'm going to sleep for a week, and I'll see you in the next one.